Hey everyone, welcome back. So I'm gonna bring it back to like the old days, like from the 82, 83, and work our way up. So those of you like me that bought all that old gear, like the Juno one, um, the Juno 2. Remember the D50 came out and the DX7 and those kind of instruments. I mean, there's a lot of lineage in that, and then the Korg M1 was like the best at that time. Um, and then things progressed on after that, and so forth and so on. But remember how you could spend. I think the D50 came out. It was 1,800 when it first came out. 1,800 bucks. So you would record with it, and maybe you had a MIDI sequencer like Elite, like one of the MC50s, and when you would go record, you would like take a sound and you would sequence with it, but then you wanted another sound, and you couldn't do it because it was only, bitimbral. The D50 was actually bitimbral, but it was very limited, the polyphony and all that. And same goes with the M1. Even though it's multi-timbral, it was truly only 16 notes of polyphony, and each note, or I mean, sorry, each single program had two oscillators, so that quickly turned it to from 16 to 8. And then remember, when you're sequencing with it, you had up to 8 tracks of sequencing, but you had to be very, very careful with how you voiced everything because you would run out of polyphony really quick. So that's kind of like the paradigm of the old days. And then when we're gonna get to this in a second because and then at the turn of the century, the Alesis 1622, the M1622, it was the mixer. I can't remember if it was MX, but it was a 1622, and it was a plastic mixer that was designed specifically to use with the ADAT, but they had engineering issues, so they released them at different times. But eventually the ADAT would come out, and remember the ADAT was like 22 to 2,500, 8 tracks of digital. So it's 8 mono tracks of digital. We all bought those. We know that. I remember going to the Guitar Center when it first opened up here in Michigan, and bought that ADAT. It's a lot of money, and you only got 8 tracks, but it was like incredible that you could do it. That's when somewhere around the Mackie 16, the 1602 or 1604, whatever it was. Was it the 1602? I think it was the 1602. But the first Mackie metal mixer, which was really loud but really quiet relative to then. Okay, so I'm only speaking to that because in relation to what this does for the price of what it costs and what it can do, if you think about it. So you can do 16 tracks of stereo, or it's going to be 16 tracks of mono or 16 tracks, either way. So 16 tracks of stereo, you would have had to have had 4 ADATs to achieve that. That's crazy. So let's just say you got them for $2,000 each, right? So you're at $8,000, and then you buy all your hardware and whatnot and all that, and then you got to sync everything up. Remember, you had to have that BRC to sync everything up. So it's just, we've come a long way. I'm just saying. So when I look at this piece through the lens of that and where I'm at today, so let's go take. So I'm gonna load a key group instrument that's based off that old hardware. So let's just go load, let's say, a T-Series type of sound. And I'm going to turn this on just for now. So this is mono synth. This came from the Korg T3. So when I program these sounds, I try to get them close, relatively close. So back in the day, you pull up the mono synth, and then you want another sound, you would have to go into combi mode, or better yet, you go into sequence mode, and you would go to track 2, and you pull up another sound from the T-Series. But again, you ran out of polyphony. And not only that, you only had 2 effects for the whole global. Here, because of the way this architecture is, the sampling technology, let's say I'll pull up pan mallet. So now I have, I'm going to here and go to 10. So now I have mono synth, and now I have pan mallet with their own effects on it. That easy. And if I want to layer them, this is what I couldn't do. Remember the sound Piano Haven? I'm going to approximate that sound by using the M1 piano sound and pad piano. Let me transpose this. So right now I got 4 sounds from the remembering of the T-Series. There's another sound I used to like. That easy to pull up. Like if I, this used to happen on the DX7s. If I go into DX7 type of sound. See how fast this MPC loads everything? So, like this trip down, remember the bass? And you know, you can put effects and stuff on it. It's really easy to do it on the MPC. It's just like really ridiculously easy. Remember that FM guitar? All right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tracks on here. The MKS20 that had 16 notes of polyphony. Now, if I want to layer it with the DX7 sound, you know, you would have to get the modules and MIDI it all together. It was ridiculous. And then get your effects processors. Remember that? So you might have had a Multiverb 3 back then, or 5 years later, you might have had an Ensoniq DP4. That easy. MKS Grusin, Dave Grusin. And then later, little thing called the JV 1080 came out, and then later after that, they developed it into like the XV 5080. So if I go to this is a custom sample that I did from the 5080 using a lot of that those sticky sounds. And remember, if I wanted to take this and I wanted to layer that with a pad or even like that MKS or the DX7, I'd have to go again, route that MIDI. Where now it's just a matter of going and finding that sound. So here's the MKS, or we'll do the DX. Or we'll do the electric piano. Or I could layer it, those two plus the M1 piano. I'm going to take this, I'm going to make this go to the track level. And when you have it set up like this where you can record, so let's go into, instead of to the range, I'm going to make it so it doesn't show the range. Okay, so. And we'll do the MKS and R8 sticky. And when I record, so it just basically it's set up to record. All right. So right now I'm at what? 12 tracks, 8, 9, 10 tracks. So remember the R8 rolling. So let me turn this back on here. Turn loop. I hit something funky, so let's just load it again. I hit some kind of filter. Okay. All right, this is the old R8. So if you take the old R8 and load it with some newer style samples, you get some real interesting combinations. All right. So we'll go and load. I just loaded over it, but I was going to load it. So here's the R8 here. Here's the other sound. And just by blending them together, different combinations or whatever. And then again, if they're selected, you can record. I mean, you didn't have to run over and turn a module on. It's just all there. And then came like the wave station. And that that was one that you couldn't do multi-timbral. So if I wanted to load another wave station sound, I'd have to track it to audio. But now, I'm not sure which touch effect is already. There was one assigned or not, but you can assign something to it. So now I'm at 14 sounds. Let's go into the Phantom or the Jupiter. See how that. And see how the effects that I programmed come exactly on it as they should. Now you can add stuff. It's not a big deal. As a matter of fact, I can go into here, and we'll go into here, and I'll just add, turn it on, and let's see what the Reverb Pro. What we got out of that. Okay, so I think there's a But again, if you look at the mixer page and I show you the effects, you can see all as I start scrolling down. Look all the multi effects that I'm running simultaneously. Look at that. Again, it's all here. Go one more to 16. Let's take acoustic guitar. So if you look at this, you don't have to be in this page, by the way. It can be in the main, doesn't matter. All right, and these are just, again, if you can sample your stuff in here, it can get pretty crazy. Now, I've got 16 sounds in here, multi-layered. So what exactly is going on in terms of CPU and RAM? 17%, 28% of RAM. Make sure that's correct. Yeah. So 16% of CPU, 28% of RAM. That would mean, and I wouldn't do it, but I could do this close to 3 times over. So you got 16 sounds, another 16 that's 32, another 16 that's 48 sounds of high definition samples. All right, with all the effects and all that. Because remember, I'm barely using any CPU on here. All in this box. So hopefully, especially the people that grew up during that time when we had all those restrictions, and what you can do on here is just, to me, it's a really large step towards the next evolution, and it's the most complete version of these other MPCs. All the way up to now, by far. Not by a little, by a lot. So anyway, until next time, everyone, peace out.